Hey guys, Ranger here, and welcome back to another video. And this is a reaction review to the to a newer Mickey cartoon. It's not a brand new one, but it's one of the newer ones, which is The Fancy Gentleman. And I had a few people tell me to check this video out. Let's begin. As soon as I stop unfull screening the thing. I apologize. Okay, starting now. Let's get on with the video because I know this video is going to be cute. So let's check it out. Start the video in 3, 2, 1. Click. I love the art. Minnie's house.
Say it again.
My darling, my love for you
This is
is
cute.
deeper than 10,000 oceans.
Oh, Rex.
I didn't have anything to eat over at my place. Mind if I dig through your fridge?
Okay.
How old is this milk?
Okay.
Oh, hi, Minnie.
Guess what? I got you private finishing school lessons. Meet your instructor, Wadsworth Thorndyke the Third.
Hi. I'm Mickey Mouse.
Charmed.
Well, toodaloo.
Who's ready to land a whopper?
From the top.
How now, brown cow?
Ouch. Okay.
Ahem. Presenting Michel Francois Mouse.
How do you do?
Oh, such a fancy gentleman.
You'll get my bill.
Oh,
I don't want to see that bill.
Michelle.
Oh, right, Michel. Oh, come on.
I have a.
Romance is served.
Bologna sandwiches? Oh, well,
Oh, boy.
perhaps I can dress them up with a little truffle oil.
I had a feeling this was going to backfire.
Minifred, where is your butler?
I don't have a butler.
What? Bologna sandwiches? No servants? Madam, I'm afraid this relationship is at an end. If you'll excuse me, I'm late for my club.
Michelle, wait! Oh! I've turned my sweet Mickey into a monster! I have to find someone to change him back. But who?
Big dang bucket!
That is not.
I see pork bellies are up over 3 points.
Splendid, quite.
Actually?
Don't mind us, folks. Just pretend like we was never here. Did you get the stuff?
It's all here. Cheese doodles, a whoopee cushion, a box of frozen waffles, and everything else you asked for. Thank you.
Now remember, no matter what you hear, do not open this door.
How dare you unhand me? No, stop! Hiya, Minnie!
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who needs Michelle when I have Mickey Mouse?
Aw, shucks!
Okay, this was adorable. This is really, really adorable. A few interesting things that I really want to go over with this right here. Okay. I've seen this gimmick with the story before. You know, I mean, with the concept of somebody I don't remember directly that is happening with Mickey and Minnie. Minnie. I do remember in some of the older Disney comics. There were times, of course, Minnie wanted Mickey to Minnie was tired of Mickey's adventuring. She wanted him to settle down, find a more, not a more stable career, but do something that doesn't take him venturing all over the planet and into space. And there were times, of course, whenever Minnie tried to get Mickey a common job, and because she didn't want him adventuring so much, doing things dangerous. Um, but I don't recall directly, and I'm sure my best friend will probably can point out times like that. I don't recall directly any moments where Minnie did try to change Mickey's personality or his attitude. I don't recall directly. I do think there might have been one time, but I don't remember if it was in a maybe a comic, maybe an older cartoon. I don't really remember. Now that I think about it, there might have been one time, but I can't remember. It's been a long time ago. But this is an interesting thing here. That Minnie wants, like Minnie's watching a romantic movie. I won't say a soap opera, but she's watching a very romantic movie, and she then looks over at Mickey, and Mickey's like a slob, like plain and simple. And there's a couple, like Minnie looks over, here's Mickey, who is essentially like she sees the guy and the girl in this movie dressed very very eloquently, and then she looks over at Mickey, who is just standing there, with his hair frazzled, gray around his muzzle, hasn't shaven, just standing in his underwear and his bathrobe, and so there's nothing to eat at his place, so he just comes over to Minnie, mooches off of Minnie, drinks her milk right out of the carton. And then Minnie imagines Mickey in this very tall, very elegant fashion, and I can only surmise from seeing this image that the artist had to have been looking at some fan art. Because I have seen people do this with fan art with the characters, and I'm not fond of it, honestly. I don't like art personally. I don't like fan art of the mice tall like this. It just doesn't suit them. I like them in their normal, their little mousy stature. That's what I like. I don't like fan art. Like, I can let this slide for this because it's supposed to be the gimmick. It's like a joke in this. But whenever you see an artist do it all the time, yeah, I don't like that. But so Minnie has this idea to try to change Mickey. Like, she wants to try to change his personality. And honestly, I don't really see, like, some might say that Minnie's kind of like almost the bad guy here. No, I really don't think so. Because Mickey at first, yeah, Mickey was in the wrong here. Like, he was mooching off of Minnie, essentially, just standing there, not really kind of caring how he was dressed, and looking kind of like a bum, and wasn't really showing like any grace or style here whatsoever. And so Mickey could have showed a little bit more decency to his girlfriend. Could have, definitely. But no. And so Minnie wanted to try to try to help Mickey improve his appearance, his etiquette, and try to make things better. So she hired this other fellow to try to help Mickey. And I knew it was going to backfire. I just had a feeling it was going to backfire. And honestly, like, whenever I saw what the real gimmick was here, I immediately had a feeling that it was going to backfire. And that it was going to backfire on Minnie, and she would end up regretting her decision, and she would want the old Mickey back. Well, it ended up what happened. And it turned out that Mickey's personality, like, Mickey at this point looked at Minnie. Like, it totally backfired. Essentially, karma came back to bite Minnie on the butt, and she tried to change Mickey a little bit, but, like, she wanted Mickey I think, she wanted him to still be himself, but she just wanted him to improve a little bit, and it turns out he improved too much, and began looking at Minnie as, like, common rabble. And to the point that we actually, that I recall for the first time, actually ever heard Mickey tell Minnie this relationship is over. I don't think I've ever seen or heard Mickey ever say that before. And like Minnie at this point was desperate. Like she wanted him back. And what I had an idea of when her like my first thought was she was going to try to do kind of like what Daisy did. I think it was in that old Donald and Daisy cartoon where Donald got hit with a flower pot and his voice changed and he like completely shirked Daisy, and so she decided to hit him on the head with a flower pot again. I kind of thought Minnie was going to Minnie was going to hit Mickey on the head with either a baseball bat or a flower pot. However, whenever she saw Goofy and Donald here, immediately I thought this is a bad idea, because I had this image in my head that it was going to backfire with that as well, that they were going to make Mickey more of a slob than what he was before. And thankfully, it didn't work out that way. Mickey was normal. It was normal, but it was at this point that Minnie realized this was basically that situation where, you know, you take something for granted and you don't realize how much you loved it. You don't really realize how much you loved it until you don't have it anymore. And Minnie tried to change Mickey to try to help him improve, but it just ended up making him worse. And then she didn't have him anymore, and she wanted him back, so she wanted the old Mickey back. Again, it kind of makes me think about that Donald and Daisy cartoon whenever Donald got hit on the head with a flower pot, and it changed his personality completely. And at first, Daisy thought the new voice with Donald was cool, but then he completely shrugged her off, and Daisy wanted the old Donald back. And that was kind of the case here. Minnie wanted the old Mickey back because Mickey was her boyfriend, husband, if however you want to look at it, according to Walt. But like Minnie wanted Mickey back, and so she didn't want the old Michelle. She wanted Mickey back, or she didn't want the new Michelle. She wanted the old Mickey, and so again, this was a very cute, very very sweet cartoon, and like I said, it is easy to look at Minnie and say that she was kind of in the wrong for wanting to try to change her boyfriend. But I have seen this gimmick play out before in other relationship-based things. I can't name off any right off the top of my head, but I have seen this gimmick before, and it was interesting to play out here in these new cartoons with Mickey and Minnie, especially with the humor especially with the humor and animation that these cartoons bring. So it was very interesting to see that. And like I said, again, for me personally, you can't hold Minnie at fault because Mickey was acting like a slob in the beginning. So you can't blame Minnie for wanting Mickey to try to improve his appearance a little bit, have a bit more decency. So yeah, I mean, you can't blame Minnie for that. But Minnie, probably took it. I mean, but yeah, she possibly took it a little too far, or rather, the other teacher took it too far and changed Mickey completely. And so yeah, I mean, one way that you could look at it was that Mickey changed more than Minnie wanted, duh. But I mean, like, the other guy changed, like, he kind of brainwashed Mickey and completely changed him dramatically. And Minnie didn't want Mickey changed that much. She just wanted him to up his appearance a bit and have a bit more decency, look more presentable. And then this other guy changed him completely. And Minnie thought, I think, even though Mickey had groomed himself, that she thought that Mickey was still going to be himself underneath, but with having more decency. But no, it drastically changed that. So, again, I really love this cartoon. Very, very cute, very, very sweet. Honestly, the Mickey Minnie cartoons are definitely my favorite. But I'm going to go over some things here. Really, but again, I absolutely love this cartoon. Going over some things here. This is the first time that I know of that I recall that we actually seen Minnie's house. I'm sure we have seen it before, but I remember back to the Fire Escape cartoon whenever Minnie had like an apartment and the boiler room where Minnie had an apartment. And like, there's been other cartoons that have shown Mickey and Minnie both living in apartments. Now, I'm not really sure if you could say that it's an interesting progression where it's showing the characters progressing to now they own their own homes. You know, if you could say that, or if it's just cartoon logic. You know, it just whatever works. It just whatever works. If it more benefits them to have an apartment, then draw them to have an apartment. Work it in the story that way. If it more benefits them to have their own house, do it that way. You know, like, so basically, I guess it could be however that you look at it. But again, this design for Minnie's house looks very much like the design we saw in House of Mouse with the heart, you know, with the two-story house, the heart shape up on the front, the hearts all over the place. An interesting thing is we do not see a garage for Minnie's car. We don't see Minnie's car whatsoever here. But again, I love this landscape design. Very, 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 very beautiful. And again, I love the sort of paintbrush, like the brush style painting that they're going with the art style. I still love that. It's very, very lovely. And this is something interesting and common, I mean cool, that we don't normally see. It's a very rustic, very charming, very simple style with Minnie here. Like, she's standing in her kitchen, or sitting in her kitchen, at this little bar, at this little counter, this small kitchen, and with a muffin, like a morning muffin, a cup of chocolate, cup of coffee, and she's just calmly watching this romantic movie. And you look at the TV set; it's the old style, turn dial, turn knob TV set with the rabbit ears antenna. So again, this is kind of looks like like a 1950s sort of style. And there's another scene that I will detail later, whenever I get to that furthers that. But again, it's interesting how this animation here, this very nice rustic, this very like sort of kitschy look to this. I like it. It's very calming. I like it. It's interesting to not see like an LCD TV. And again, here you have this bulky, the bulky TV. And you don't see like an LCD screen there. But again, this is very, very interesting. And again, it's interesting, the artwork, and like seeing the animation for this dude here kind of makes me think of the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. And it's kind of, I don't know, looks like Cinderella. Oh boy, the fan fictions that could, I'm sure somebody's done that before. Not saying I don't support the ship. I don't. But I'm sure somebody does. Like this is an interesting look for Minnie here, as we see the shimmer on her eyelids. Then she looks over. Again, very interesting, very, very interesting animation change. And again, here's Mickey, standing, unshaven, hair all frazzled, nose drooped, and just standing in his underwear, posture very, very lacking. And it's it's interesting to note here that, like, here Mickey is standing in his underwear in his girlfriend's house, and Minnie is sort of like, okay. Like, you're drinking my milk from the carton. Like, it's kind of funny. Like, it's cool that the mice are comfortable enough with each other here. Like, that's something we don't often see. It's something we see very, very little of, is like a moment like this whenever Mickey is in his underwear around Minnie. Yes, there has been little gimmicks, little maybe things in animation or comics or just a still image before of Mickey's, like Mickey maybe getting a hole in his pants, his underwear showing through, Minnie seeing it and giggling or something like that. Or Mickey maybe even losing his shorts. But like, it's interesting enough that Minnie, like right here, like Minnie is either used to it, or I can only imagine what fan fiction would do with that. But like, they're comfortable enough with each other that Mickey is walking around in his underwear, or he's just a slob and just doesn't care. I can't still fathom. I mean, heck, I'm sure fan fiction could probably have Minnie walk around in her underwear in front of Mickey. Probably, I'm sure fan fiction would do that. Obviously, we're not going to see that, and to be honest, in the cartoons, I don't want to see it, but fanfiction is totally fine. But again, like, Minnie begins to think of how she could modify Mickey. She could mod Mickey and turn him into this elegant gentleman. And again, like, to be honest, it's honestly a shame at the lack. Like, I'm really ashamed at the lack of fan art that people have done with these characters, with this art and with these characters in general as a result of these cartoons. It's significantly lacking. Like, if this was no joke, if this was the MLP fandom already, there would be tons of art highlighting this. But whenever it comes to the Disney fandom, no, it's like, with the MLP fandom, you've got a steady flowing stream of inspiration and creativity. With the Disney fandom, whenever it comes to fan art, it's like the freaking Sahara Desert. You gotta travel miles before you'll find an oasis. And it's embarrassing. I am embarrassed. I am appalled. Come on, people. I mean, come on. There's so much potential here. Like, if I drew, if I could art, I can't even talk. If I could draw, I'd be doing things like this. So, again, we also get to see Mickey's house, and again, it's very interesting. It's very similar to that of the House of Mouse. Minnie's house was pink, I believe it was, kind of pinkish purple. Mickey's house was yellow. Here we see Mickey's house, and we see Pluto's doghouse right here in the yard. Again, we don't see anything for the mice's vehicles. We don't see anything for the mice's vehicles, but it's also interesting to note that the characters' houses are basically similar, like small two-story houses. Like, they're not trying to one-up each other. One doesn't have a bigger house than the other. It's the exact same level house, and I like that. And I like how here, whenever Mickey opens the door, and again, it's interesting to note, like, look how large the door is. Like, these are small mice. These are small mice. Like, these are like Mickey and Minnie are like 3 feet tall, maybe. They're like 3 feet tall, maybe. And look at the size difference. Like, look at just the overall size difference of the mice here. Yeah, it's interesting, like, the size difference with the mice here. Like, they're short mice. And so just look how much taller this door is. Very interesting concept. And actually, it's interesting, like, you can also look at the doors. Like, if you look at your own door, and you look at where the mice, where their heads are and everything, you can pretty much get an idea of how tall, about the height of a doorknob. You can look at your doorknob and pretty much say that's how tall the mice are. Of course, the doorknob here on this door is placed a little bit lower than the doorknob on my door. So if you lower your doorknob a little bit, maybe about like a foot or half a foot, that's pretty much what you're going to get. But I love how here Minnie just, she is standing there calmly at first, and then she just saunters over to Mickey in one step, and in quite a slide. And one could probably, and for me, I could also imagine a seductive, just that look on her face, and her nose is touching his. And it's interesting because there's such a contrast here. Here are Donald and Goofy, ready to go fishing. And you have this elegant guy who has probably never been on a lake in his life. Ever. And that moment, honestly, where he just slams the door. And you still see the impression of the Goofy in the door. It's hilarious, I love that. And also, something also to note is over top of Mickey's head in this particular photo, you see a smaller picture, like an oval-shaped picture, with 2 mice in it. Now, you can imagine that could be Mickey and Minnie, or it could be Mickey's mom and dad. And honestly, this moment, whenever this guy grabs Mickey by his ear and tugs and pulls him, I actually want to see something. I want to see Disney start doing that with Minnie occasionally, where Minnie could tell Mickey something, and then she like gently grabs his ear and tugs it, pulling him with her. That, I think I really would like to see that. Now, this is a scene that I was going to talk about. Is Minnie standing here doing some cleaning, and this is not something that you see today. Minnie is dressed in like the old this is basically like the old 50s. I mean, look at this old vacuum that Minnie is using. It's kind of like a futuristic sort of streamlined design. It's got the old handle. It's got, I mean, just, this looks old. This vacuum does. And, you know, it's definitely different than today's stand-up vacuums. And, I mean, this looks like an old vacuum. And you see the chrome around the side and, you know, the top and around the front and back. This kind of looks like a futuristic sort of how they would have designed a vacuum back in the 1950s. And of course, Minnie's wearing the headscarf. She's wearing the scarf around her, like the hairnet around, like the scarf or hairnet around her hair, around the top of her head. And she's also wearing an apron. This is very much like the 1950s. You know, this is like something that you would have seen back in the 50s on like artwork and things like that of like women doing some cleaning back in the 1950s. This is very much in that style, and like it goes with the other image that I showed of Minnie in her kitchen, looking at an old bulky TV with rabbit ear antennas, and so this looks, again, I like how they're going with sort of like a soft 50s appearance. You know, it's like a subtle or completely blatantly obvious 1950s appearance. It's very cool in how they're doing that, but there are of course moments whenever we see a more modern, whenever we see things more modern. So again, this actually works in this particular cartoon, and I do like the style. I really do like the style. We also see, of course, that Minnie has a lot of pillows and cushions on her couch and on her chair, and so I mean, honestly, yeah, there's a few pillows on the couch here in my house as well. So, but going over a couple little things with cartoon, the guy makes a mention about you'll get my bill. I can only imagine how much that this is going to cost. I was kind of wondering, waiting for them to, like, at the end of the cartoon, maybe they see the bill and it's freaking expensive. But there was one moment here whenever I completely knew that it was going to backfire. Whenever Minnie began to giggle and she had that little bit of a snort, and Mickey had this sort of scowl about him, like, ugh. That's whenever, yeah, it really began to, like, I knew that this is going to completely backfire. And like Minnie pulls this romantic dinner, and honestly wondered what Minnie was going to prepare, but it's kind of interesting that the romantic dinner that Minnie fixed was some basic sandwiches, like ham and cheese sandwiches. And this takes me back to that cartoon Mickey Tries to Cook from House of Mouse, where Minnie wants a romantic picnic dinner, and Mickey ends up fixing ham, cheese, tomato, ham, cheese, tomato, ham, cheese, and tomato, or however that goes. He fixes like ham and cheese and tomato sandwiches. This could be a good homage to that, because this is ham and cheese and tomato sandwiches, and lettuce. And so, like, this is like an homage to that, possibly. It could be. But, like, Minnie wanted something different. And then, Minnie wanted something different. And so she tries to get Jose to help Mickey to learn how to cook. Or, well, Mickey tries to learn how to cook, doesn't work. So, it turns out Jose ends up fixing the exact same sandwiches. But I think it's interesting, like, if you go back to other things like the My Disney Kitchen video game for the PlayStation. Yes, I played that. One of the lines that Minnie says in the game is grilled cheese sandwiches is one of her favorite sandwiches. And so here, I think it's cool, honestly, that Minnie's fixing, some common sandwiches. I think it says, Minnie does, like, for me personally, Minnie does like a nice, a really, she does like sometimes a fancy dinner, but she isn't a high-end gal. She isn't a high-end, high-maintenance gal. She does like things simple and basic a lot of the time. And so sandwiches here are totally fine for her. It was here Mickey is like, I don't want sandwiches, I wanted something different. And it was interesting, like Mickey was like, what did Mickey call her? Minifred. Minifred. Okay, okay, okay. But like he was like, "Where's your butler?" And honestly, I think you could probably look at it like Mickey's actual self was locked away in this shell, and this guy is not Mickey whatsoever. But like Mickey himself is locked away in this shell. Like I can imagine, like screaming, wanting to get out, wanting to deck himself for treating Minnie this way. And then at moment, whenever Mickey's like, "This relationship is coming to an end," and he begins to walk out. This is like one of the shocks of Minnie's life right here. And Mickey storms out, and Minnie tries to chase. She goes after him to the porch and tries to get him to come back, but he doesn't. He doesn't obviously come back. And it's at this point Minnie breaks down. Like she breaks down and just literally loses the strength to stand. And then immediately she wants to change, and then immediately she wants to change him back. Like she doesn't give up. Like she does not just call it quits. She wants to get, she wants Mickey back. She wants her guy back. And so immediately she's like, how am I going to change him back? And then she sees Donald and Goofy outside still trying to I guess tend to whatever the guy did to them. And then immediately Minnie thinks, I can use these guys. An interesting thing, Mickey then suddenly is at this very, very elegant, very refined affair. I gotta say, it's really comical whenever out of nowhere, Goofy just bonks Mickey on the head with a baseball bat, and then stuffs Mickey in a sack, throws him over his shoulder, and then tells the guys, just pretend you never saw anything. You never saw a thing. Okay, Donald's probably the one who hit him. I don't know. It doesn't show, so you can just imagine. And like here, like you can see the desperation in Minnie's face. Like she wants Mickey back. Goofy and Donald are certain that they're going to get him back, and I love how calm that they are. They're like very casual about like, don't worry, we'll take care of it. So they ask Minnie for a lot of things. Pies, feather duster, I don't know what that's for. Baseball, cheese balls, whoopee cushion, a plunger. Again, if the Disney fandom was like the MLP fandom, then artists would take advantage of everything in this box. But nope, we don't get jack in the Disney fandom because nobody wants to do it, or nobody has the inspiration to do it, or there's just not enough people that will do it. Like, I have heard that line in a couple of movies or TV shows before where Goofy says, no matter what you hear, do not open this door, or like, no matter what you hear, do not come in, like, do not come in here, or do not go in there. And so Minnie has to stand outside and hear all these noises coming from inside, and she's worried about what they're doing to Mickey. I mean, like, you can tell she's concerned about what they're doing to Mickey. Is it hurting him? Is he okay? But she also wants him back, so she's also kind of willing, hoping that, I guess, he'll forgive her for what she's done later because she just wants him back. And then Mickey's back, standing there rather cutely. And we see all this pile over the door. Both are wearing aprons, and Goofy's got goggles on, a boxing glove. Donald has a plunger, and for some reason Goofy has pants for some reason. He wasn't wearing them initially, was he? No, he wasn't wearing pants, so where the pants came in that, why they're around his ankles, I have no idea. But again, look at this face. Look at this adorable face. At this point, like, Mickey's back, and Minnie is like my boyfriend's back, and it's just adorable how immediately, like, Minnie doesn't waste any time. She pounces him, embraces him, and kisses him. Then she apologizes for trying to change him. She apologizes for trying to change him, and very adorably, and like she adorably tells him that she doesn't need the other guy that he was. She wants him. That she has Mickey Mouse. Like, from this expression that Minnie's giving him, yeah, he's going to get pounced on in another way later. Like, yeah, she's going to pounce him later in another way. That's just my mind again. Like, he's so getting pounced later. Like, she's got him back. They're going to celebrate. And a very interesting thing here, again, to go back, is whenever the mice are laughing together, like, they both have that snort. Like, they both have that little snort. And so, Mickey's back, you know, and he's like he was before, and there's that connection between them, you know, there's that similarity between them, there's that common thing between them, and so, you know, that's also why the mice click, is because they do have quite in common. There are some, you know, some differences, of course, but like this is something that they have in common, you know, and so it's showing here, and so again, very very cute, very very cool, and again, I really love this cartoon. It's very cute, it's very sweet. I love it. It's definitely one of my favorite Mickey cartoons. I can't say that it's my favorite of the Mickey cartoons in general, because I think that would still have to be like Third Wheel, the Hawaiian cartoon, and just a couple of the other cartoons that I watched as well. I can't remember the name, but the one where the mice were like in that tunnel at the end of the cartoon. But yeah, like those definitely those are kind of my favorite. This one is definitely one of my favorites of the Mickey cartoons. And it is up there with the Mickey Mini cartoons, but it's not exactly my most favorite one. But it definitely is up there. But again, this is very cute, very sweet, and again, I love the art style. It's an interesting blend of, like, besides the mice looking like their traditional 1930s appearances, you know, you've got the modern voices, and again, the art style. I love the painted, like, brushstroke effect that they're going with for the background art, for the background visuals. I love seeing it. It's very soft. It doesn't like flash out at you. It's very soft. It's very calm, and it's like a painting. You know, it's like a painting that you can just look at. It's not like something that you walk past and bright colors just jump out at you. It's very soft. It's very calm and relaxing, and then like some of the setups, some of the settings. Again, this very nice calm morning with Minnie, and then her with her vacuuming later. Again, something from the 50s, and so again, it's a very artistic, very nice little style, and it really fits. It works beautifully, and also I do love how that it is not consistent. How, like, in this cartoon, it shows something from the 1950s. It looks like, you know, the 1950s. It has that kitschy look to it, but then you've also got other cartoons where it shows a more modernized flair. So again, it really really fits, and I'm glad that it does not have that consistency, because it's a cartoon. It's the cartoon universe. Nothing written, not everything has to make sense. But again, I absolutely love this cartoon. It's very cute, very sweet, and definitely one of my favorite Mickey cartoons. So again, to everybody that worked on this cartoon, thank you all so much for all the work and effort put into it. This is very cute, very sweet. I love it. Everybody involved with this cartoon, thank you all so much. And also to everybody again, thank you again for joining me, and thank you to everybody who told me watch this cartoon, check it out. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and again, anything you want to say, please feel free to do so in the comments. And again, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next video that I do. Take care.